just one word to me. In terms of web development, I'm mostly a self-learner, and out of this perspective, it is really great to have Polymer because it makes web development so much easier. And I'm pretty sure that after this talk, you will be also thinking about this like me. The gender. My plan is to give you first a basic overview about web components and Polymer. After that, we will talk about the components of which Polymer exists. And closing, I will show you what you can do to learn Polymer and join the revolution. So the basic overview about web components. I think there it is best to start with the question what problems web components are solving. And the obvious problem is that in today's web development, web applications are designed for more devices than just big screens like desktops and laptops. We have tablets, we have phones, and now we have watches. So we need to target that needs, and web components help in that area really a lot. It makes it so much easier to design responsive web apps. One example could be the building of a UI tab, which should be easy. Which should be easy, but often is not. You can see here some examples of code with different frameworks and languages, where you just try to build just a UI tab, and all I want to show you is that there are really some lines of code, and for my favor, this is Angular. It's just too much code for a basic tab here, right? So it would be great if we could decrease that, and with web components, this is really easy. A tab bar is here created with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code consisting of no, you don't. Yeah. There was a lag, right? No? That's great. Okay, cool. So, good. Here you have a paper tab. Paper, this is something I will come to in a minute. But this is a web component which gives you a tab with 3 tabs in it. So tab bar with 3 tabs. And you see it's really declarative, understandable code that you can really easily insert into your web page. And so you don't have to do much more than this. Well, actually, there are 2 steps before you can use it that easy, but I'm going to show you. And but to get more on the question, what are web components? Not just to show you. We will start, or I'm going to show you 4 key technologies that are really important for web components and working with web components. The first is the custom element, which means that you define new HTML for your web application. This is an example what you see when you inspect your Gmail webpage. I think we all know what this is called, like this div soup. It's one div with another nested div, and inside that is another nested div, and so on. It seems that it does not have any end, so it's not really declarative. So it is not the fault of Google or the designer of Gmail. it's just the way it was possible to build Gmail at that point, but today it would be really much more easier with web components. And here you have an example also of the paper tabs, which is a custom element that you can use. All I want to show you is, well, you saw it some slides ago, but if you want to, for example, show the user a pre-selected tab, you would have, in the JavaScript way, you would have to add an event listener to that, and then you have to do whatever you want with the selected tab, and so on. And actually, this is also implemented in the custom element, but it is really easy realized. You just add an attribute to your paper tabs and say selected one. So you just have, you choose your number, and from left to right it starts with 0, 1, 2, so it's that easy. So custom elements are declarative, and you can make meaningful HTML. So you don't have to write so many divs which nobody understands. And if you take a look at that, also if you are new to an application, you can figure out what it means, right? The next thing out of these four are templates. Templates are also very important because you have templates, possibility to nest really more logic into one block. And here, for example, you can write a template for a comment with an image inside it, and also a script, and you can build something that the image responds to the comment you give or something. So this you can nest in a template and use it then right at the moment. Third, and very important, is the shadow DOM. The shadow DOM is not used only today or yesterday, but a long time ago. Here you see the HTML5 video tag, and in this video tag you actually have a lot of shadow DOM. If we inspect this element, we will see that down this line there, this tab is actually shadow DOM. If you inspect it, you see here in the first row we have the video tag, and if we open the shadow root, and only then we can see the divs which it consists of. So this is all nested, and you can really easily use it without making all this on your own. This is really good. The third thing is HTML imports, which is the way how you load your custom elements into your web page. And this is an example for how you implement Bootstrap. In your application you have 2 style sheets to load and 4 scripts to load, and all this has to be in the accurate order. So it is, there are some traps. If you, for example, do one before another, it won't work, and so on. This is nothing new. So with HTML imports, it would be that easy. You just import an HTML, and in that HTML you have all these imports. So this would be much, much easier. And to make your web application not sending so many HTTP GET requests and so on, just to make it a little bit more thinner and more performing, you can use tools like Vulcanize, which take care of that. You can use Vulcanize on its own, or you can use it with Grunt or Gulp. For both of these tools, Vulcanize is available, and this is highly recommended that you use it if you use web components or Polymer. So, to sum that up, these are the four basic tools for web components: custom elements, templates, shadow DOM, and HTML imports. And out of this, the result is you can work with web components. You can find custom elements which were produced by someone else really easy on sites like here, customelements.io, and you can look at these, and if you like one, it's really easy to install it with PowerPoint, for example. Here we install a core toolbar or a core icon button out of this Polymer library. The next step would be to import it into your web app. Here in the header, you need to import that HTML file that you got. And the third step is then actually to use it. And here you can see that you are giving your toolbar no attributes, but you give your core icon button an attribute. And then you can nest additional things inside your toolbar. And the result would look like this. And so these three steps are quite easy, and the outcome is really cool. So it's a lot of it's a lot easier than using other things. The bad news is that the browser support is right at the moment not that good. Templates are supported by Opera, Chrome, and Firefox, and the three other things are not that good supported. So right at that point, one would say, okay, it's not so good to work with web components, but at this point, Polymer comes in the game. With Polymer, you can use polyfills, which manages it to work with web components, although web components are not supported by some of your browsers. It makes that and adds some gimmicks, some sugar to it, so it makes it a little bit better than with working with vanilla web components. And the browser support with Polymer looks then like this. So you don't have to think about browser support at all. Every browser is supported, and so that is no problem at that point anymore. But what is about this sugar? We take a look at the custom element. In vanilla web components, you would use a custom element like this. You would register the element, give it a name, and make something with the prototype and so on. And that's quite easy, but with Polymer, it looks a little bit more understandable, I would say. And the usage of a Polymer element is then like this. So combined, it's maybe a little bit easier, but if you go deeper in the matter, you see that there is much more to do, and so we will see some, here. Here you can see how Polymer works with well, here you have a super button that extends from a button. So this is a little bit more complicated, but with Polymer you can make it also a little bit easier, and the usage is just as easy as you would use a normal button. So far. Templates, sugaring template is well, actually in vanilla web components it's also very easy, and here it is so that you have some additional features that you can add to a template, like data binding, and so with that feature you can build a template that automatically repeats something like every user in the list. So this is really a nice goodie. The shadow down is here you can have the security that you don't mix up your style sheets with another, and Polymer guarantees that you can style your elements different, use it together, and know and it doesn't accidentally exchange styles with one element that you don't mean or mix up. So this is guaranteed. So components in the classical way would look like this. This is something we all know, and with custom elements you could make something like this and give it a more declarative name and use it really more easier with more functionality built in. This is really good. And with web components, it's much easier to build HTML for the mobile web. What means that we here, for example, have a web page or a web application where we could have something like these elements, and all these elements work really great together because they understand each other and deliver a certain functionality. So this is more clear and more ability. At this point I would like to show you the two types of elements that are at Polymer, that are inert by that. We have the core elements, which are like very important for every web development of a web app. Here is an example of a toolbar, which I think every web app needs. It is a basic container, and in that container you can then nest some things like a div if you just want to write something, or if you want to have a hamburger menu maybe, then you just have to import the core icon button if you want that, and then you can do something like this and add more functionality to it. Here, if we go further, not to only have a tab bar, you can see the core header panel that is also a layer for the whole page. and with that you can add more functionality to your web page. You can see yes, here we have our call toolbar, and because it is nested in that core header panel, you can just under it give a div with the class content, and because it is nested in that header panel, it works something like this. Because the core header panel understands what the toolbar needs, and if it is combined with another div, you can really easily arrange it that it scrolls like this, and you can change the behavior if you add some attributes to one of these, or like you want it. Here you have the scroll option, like the toolbar here will scroll with the page, or you can put it, you could also choose another mode where the toolbar stays at the top, even if you scroll. This is just another attribute. If you want to design responsive, what actually everybody wants, so for sure, this is also very easy because the core draw panel, which is the container, is responsive out of the box. And if you nest, for example, a drawer and a main div, it can understand this and gives you, so here's the drawer and here's the main, and because of the functionality of the core draw panel, it does something like this. It shows you both if you have a wide range, and it makes it look like this on a phone if you don't have that space, which you would need. These were the core elements, and one could say the design elements are called paper elements, and the paper elements are something like here, like an input in a field, where you can also add attributes like here, floating labels, so it makes this floating effect, and with these 3 lines, it's really easy to get some logic in that. You can validate what the user is allowed to type, and you can also give an error message. All very easy. Another design element is the paper checkbox, which looks like this. And you can see here the design is very material, so all the new stuff. Also, you can take some design elements out of, or parts of the design out of one element and put it into another. Here is a click effect that maybe the tabs in a tab bar, that they have it automatically. But if you want to have it on your own picture or something, you can also do that. You just have to nest it into a div, and then you can add the paper riffle effect. This attribute fit works so that you set it, and then it automatically arranges to the size of your picture. And this is all you have to do to get this design effect. Also, you can have shadows, so it's a 3-dimensional thing, which adds also more design to your application. With this attribute ZOT, you can define the intents of your shadow, and then you just have to animate it, and this is altogether cool paper shadow effect. if you want to personalize the styling, because here we have all these colors already set, and if you say, all right, I don't like that, you can also change the color of something. Here we have a paper slider with the normal attributes, and say if you don't like blue, you would like to have it like yellow. It's that easy that you go into your CSS, and with that double point shadow, you basically grab right into the element and grab this slider not inner, and you can change it like the way you want. So this is also possible. You don't have to stay with predefined colors. And if you say, I want to address all, for example, tabs that I have, or the design effects that I have on the tabs, you can use this deep attribute in your CSS, and then you address all the elements which have a paper riffle, for example. And with these two, it's really easy to design your own style or theme. Yeah, one example for what is possible on that field of design is an app called Topeka. It's a quiz app that really has great visual effects. So I can just say you could really test it. Also, you can learn something about history, but it's really cool to see how the animations work, and so it really good. It looks good. Take a look at it. And you all have to look. Yeah. So yeah, here's something like the slide effect and how it changes views. So this is all really. This is something. There's one question I can't answer. Dude, what's up? No. Yeah. So it's a cool app. I played it like 5 hours. The home of Polymer is polymer-project.org, and as the paper elements are design elements, you need to see them before you decide which one to take. So you can scroll through every element and see what it gives you, and so you can get a better overview of what is possible. One thing that is important to mention is that not only Google is working with web components. Polymer is basically the answer of what is the web components revolution made by Google, but also Mozilla did something with the web components. It also created a library which is called Brick, and here you see a application which consists of a Brick app bar, what is the equivalent to the toolbar with Polymer, and Brick deck, the middle thing, and at the bottom you have a tab bar. So these are all elements out of the Brick library, but as web components are meant to work together all in all, you are able actually to design here the core, the icons are on the other side something out of the Polymer library. So you have here a combination out of both libraries, and that works just like shown. So no problem. Here you have, you have something It is an additional layer that you lay over the map, and it works together with the map to give it a little Instagram functionality. You can see it here, like you tap over it, and then you can see the relevant pictures on Instagram for that area. And you can see here you have a scroll area, which is another element. But there are not only browser makers doing cool things with web components. Here you have the app router, which gives you support for changing web pages, made by Heinrich. It is also very easy. I just took a look at the GitHub page, and it was initially very clear, understandable, so I could just use it like in 5 minutes and wouldn't have any questions. Another thing is the page bar. Actually, the minus is very important, because if you define elements, you have to care that you don't get in trouble with the new design of actually really HTML elements. So you just have to put a tab in there, a minus. And here you have this pager, which works like you have data, and it automatically sees how much data you have, and then it puts you on different tabs. Like when you have 200 data, you just have to say, all right, I want to have it on 10 tabs, and then it's all computed. Also, for forms, you have an Ajax elements, which you can really easily include. And so Polymer would not be really honest if it would not itself consist out of Polymer. The Polymer web page is completely made out of Polymer. And here you can see at the Chrome status site. I'm a little bit over the time, right? Yeah. No? Here at the Chrome status page, you can see, you can check for every minute how is the support for certain elements. One cool thing is the Polymer designer tool, which is a drag and drop designer. You can see here, you can choose the components. Here are the core components to see. Below there you have the paper tools, the paper elements, and you can just drag and drop it, and it's that easy. And all the coding work is done by this designer tool. So also GitHub is using web components. If you go to your GitHub profile, you can see these timestamps, like edited a month ago or a minute ago, and these are actually local minus time elements. So this is really a cool thing. And Salesforce is working on to put all its APIs into custom elements, so that you don't have to work with the API directly. You just have to implement the custom element, and then you can set the attributes like you want. So APIs as elements, this is really a cool thing. Yeah, here is one problem or one task that maybe every one of us already had. Just to add a marker on a map, you can see here the code, really some lines in JavaScript, and for my favorite even just too much code. And we have the custom element Google Map with what just gives us, yeah, you can see it, just a map, no surprise. But if we want to add a marker on that, we can, well, first of all, we can define the range, the ratio of the map to show. And if we want to add something like a zoom, it's also an attribute which we can address. And if we want to add a marker, finally, we have just nest a marker inside our Google Map. And this marker also has attributes, and we can, with this way, really customize our application really easy and use the Google Map API over our custom elements and attributes. So if you want to see which Google APIs else are supported or are there as elements, you can go to Google Web Components at GitHub, and Google right at the moment is working to get all its APIs, not all, because some things just don't make sense, but for those things which really make sense, they are really tried to put it into elements that you can work with really easy. Well, actually, this is from, sorry, was more for me. This is Eric Beidelman, as you might guess. And under this cryptic link, he made a video series on YouTube that is really great for explaining what you can do with web components. You got the link? Yeah. So the last part is join the revolution. So what can you do to get up and running web components? For learning, you can go to webcomponents.org. I think this is the best point to start. Here are the basics and what is it about and so on. Here you can get a lot of information. Polymer, for sure, the library that works with web components. And on that page you have tutorial, like a short tutorial where you create your first custom element, and then you can, in half an hour, build your own application with custom elements made by someone else or so. Also on YouTube, the video series Polycasts is very useful. I think they have now like 8 episodes, and weekly there are coming more episodes. Yeah, for your development process, there is also a Geoman generator. If you use Geoman for your project, you can download this generator, and then you just have to say yo Polymer, and it builds you a really nice environment for your app with power and so on. Yeah, this is just like a really basic tutorial. It's called C element, and this is something like the easiest way to start with elements. Here you can see it on GitHub. I don't know why I have this slide. And what I point to is, oh yeah, this is Adios Mai. He also did a video series where he builds a Polymer app with that glorious Chrome dev editor, which is really a handy way for you to get started, because it is a Chrome app. You have to install it with your Chrome browser, and then you have all built in like Power and so on, and it is really easy to have a really great workflow to develop your app. So this is really, you should definitely check it out, Chrome Dev Editor. Yeah, share. So if you have learned a little bit web components and you say, hey, I have a cool idea for a web component, make your web component and then you can share it with people. I think everyone does highly appreciate that. If he does not have to do something that someone else already has done. Sharing is quite easy. You just have to put in your bar.json a keyword, web component, and then you can put it here on custom elements and everyone can find it. Exploring, well, exploring just means Polymer is perfectly for playing around with it. So just go to maybe web components.io and scroll through it and just pick some, maybe 5 elements and see what you can do with it. And I think you will be really overwhelmed with what you can do with it. It is really a cool thing. So this is the end of my presentation.
Thanks, Jan. You were pretty busy with your talk, so we have 3 minutes for Q&A left. Shoot.
So you showed pretty much mainly static HTML. What if you want to have more like have custom behavior which isn't covered by the components? Imagine the Google Maps thingy, and imagine you have a circle you can draw around, and then you want to show all the coffee shops which are in a circle. So you have it there, and you have some markers, and then you drag it around, and then those old markers disappear and new markers pop in. So it's not like that you showed there's a marker and it's a static one. How would you accomplish that when you really want to not? So I think this is not declarative anymore, but you want to write code or something like that to actually influence your component. How would you interact with it?
I know what you mean. Yeah, this has to be mentioned. The API about over elements is somehow limited. So if you have really different things that you want to arrange, you actually have to write JavaScript. But you can combine it seamlessly with your elements. So at a very high level, you can reach a lot with the API over elements thing. And if it gets really special, at a certain point, you have to write your own JavaScript. That's right.
But you can package it again as a Polymer, actually. You can basically fork the Google Maps, make your own version.
This is the social aspect. Like you run through all that, writing JavaScript, and then you say, well, I don't want to have another one writing all that JavaScript. And then you put it into an element, and at some point of time, everyone has an element for it. It would be great evil.
2 questions. Any concerns about performance? Second question. How do you compare web components to like Java portlets or something like that?
What did she do? Performance, as I mentioned, is what you can do is how you can use this vulcanized thing. Actually, did you yesterday use it?
I didn't manage it.
All right, yeah, that's a pity. Actually, if you arrange to use it, it really takes a lot care of
the round trips.
Yeah, right. And actually, the second question I can't answer. I just have no knowledge about it. Maybe.
You know.
I'd say last question, and then we need to break off. Yeah.
Yeah. I showed you this slide. It's not a fast. So web components on its own. What is the message? Yes.
So is it already standardized and all browser vendors have agreed on how they want to implement it? Will you support it?
It's not that, it's not so good implemented, but for that situation you have this polymer fields thing. So Polymer takes care for that, and if you use Polymer, you don't have to care about the browser support because Polymer makes it work on every browser.
But there is a standard. It's just that the vendors are not equally quickly in implementing them. You see that IE and Safari don't have them. Firefox, if you look further on the website, they have some bugs currently, but Opera and Chrome have full support for every aspect of Polymer.
So eventually,
Yeah, and I guess that's the answer to the performance, at least for the runtime, against normal JavaScript applications. Since it's a native thing, I guess it's pretty capable. But
As long as we need polyfills, it's not.
well, depending on what browser you're on. Yeah. Okay.
IE6.
IE6. My sympathy.
Yeah, but for example, in a corporate environment, in banks, yeah, they're fighting like they're chained in some Microsoft environments when they work on Windows XP with IE6, and when they win the fight, they usually upgrade to Windows 7 with Internet Explorer 8. So the thing is here, like, do we use Polymer or some polyfilters or stuff like that, like new fancy things in a corporate environment where they're using like Internet Explorer 6 or 8, and how does Polymer perform in such an environment?
I'm not sure IE6 is still supported anywhere in the real world.
Officially, it's dead, yes,
outside
but
corporate world. Yeah, but IE8 might be in the polyfill range. I'm not sure. And the idea is that what?
Only the last two versions.
Oh, so that's IE9 and 10. Only the last two. Yeah, well, it's also a problem. But that's always the problem with legacy systems. So sorry, I need to stop this now. Thank you again, Jan.